أهلا وسهلا. كيف حالكم؟ أرجو أن تكونوا بخير. مرحبا بكم في درس جديد. Before starting the new lesson, let's take a look at the opening phrase. أهلا وسهلا. أهلا وسهلا is a common expression used to welcome people in Arabic, and it is a perfect substitute for مرحبا. We are simply using it for the sake of diversity. As usual, we are going to repeat it each lesson until you get the hang of it. Now let's begin, shall we? First, we are going to solve last week's homework. And right after that, we are going to start our new series about joining Arabic letters. Finally, we are going to practice joining rules on a couple of letters. Let's begin with the homework. You have been asked to circle the right alternative. Well, when looking at these words, you will notice that all of them begin with the Hamza, and that the only difference between each couple is the way Hamza has been written. So the real question here is, should Hamza sit by itself or use Alif as a chair? In order to answer this question, we have to recall the chair rules that we have explained last time. Well, when Hamza is the initial consonant in a word, it has an Alif as a seat. And when the vowel with Hamza is a Fatha or a Dhamma, the Hamza is written on top of the Alif, as you can see. But when the vowel with Hamza is a Kasra, the Hamza is written underneath the Alif. I think we've got our answers here, so let's get back to the homework. So for the first question, Amal has been written twice. But the Hamza is sitting on an Alif only in the second alternative. And since the short vowel is a Fatha, Hamza should be written on top of the Alif. So the second alternative is the right one. Very good. And by the way, for those who are new, Amal means hope. Let's move on to the second question. Here we have faith written twice in Arabic. We do say Iman. One more time. Iman. I think you've got the hang of it, isn't it? You should look at the position of the Hamza. If it is the initial letter, the chair has to be in Alif. And if the short vowel is a Kasra, the Hamza should be placed underneath the Alif. So the right alternative is the first one. Well done, everyone. Finally, أعجوبة. One more time. أعجوبة, which means miracle. As we already said in our previous lesson, we are aware that you may not be able to read these words all by yourselves, so all you need to do is to focus on the first letter. Let's get back to the matter at hand. Only one word here has Hamza sitting on an Alif, and it is the second one. And since the short vowel is a Dhamma, Hamza should be placed on top of the Alif. So the second alternative is the correct one. See how simple it was? Well done, everyone. Now it's time to start our new lesson about joining Arabic letters. Arabic has a cursive script in which most letters join with their neighbors in accordance with rules. The shape of individual letters may change depending on the combination used. Nevertheless, the distinctive shape of each letter can still be easily recognized. Each letter can appear in up to 4 different shapes: isolated, initial, medial, and final. When forming Arabic words, letters are joined with one another, and each word is a combination of letters. Spaces are only placed between words in order to differentiate them. But for every rule, there is an exception. As a general rule, letters forming one Arabic word continuously join to their neighboring letters until they confront a partial connecting letter, also known as knotty letter, or reach the final letter of this word. In such case, continuous joining of letters is interrupted, and subsequent letters, if any, will be written as a separate joint. This part might be confusing on paper, so let's see the situation on the ground. As you can see here, we have divided some of the words that we have studied together into 2 groups. On the left side, we have words following the general rule. هي, هو. By contrast to the other side, there is no interruption here between the letters. And the reason behind it is that these words شريبة and أمل are containing knotty letters, also known as partial connecting letters. So during the upcoming lessons of this new series, we are going to learn all the different shapes each letter can have, in addition to knotty letters that break the joining rules. We are also going to introduce you to other special cases, while postponing studying them in depth for the right time. In order to keep things simple, we are going to see only 4 letters today. So before ending this lesson, let's practice joining rules on these letters. هيا نبدأ. We all know that the first letter in the Arabic alphabet is Alif. But since Alif by itself has no specific sound, and since we didn't study the long vowels yet, we are going to ask the letter Hamza for help. That's on one hand. On the other hand, Alif is one of the knotty letters. A knotty letter is a letter that simply doesn't connect from the left side. So the combination of Alif and Hamza will only have 3 shapes. The isolated and the initial forms are identical. As an example, we have Asad. One more time. Asad, which means lion. Next, we have the medial shape in the word فأر. One more time. فأر. which is nothing but the mouse in English. Let's now move on to the second letter, ba. It has 4 shapes. Please keep an eye on the different shapes while listening to the pronunciation of each word. It's crucial. For the isolated form, we have kitab. One more time. Kitab, which means book in English. For the initial form, we have bayt. One more time. Bayt. Bayt means house. Next, for the medial form, we have jubn. Jubn, which is nothing but cheese in English. And for the final form, we have ثعلب. ثعلب, which means fox in English. Let's move on to the third letter. It also has 4 shapes. First we have حوت. One more time. حوت, which means whale in English. Please keep an eye on the different shapes, it's crucial. Next, تفاحة. One more time. تفاحة. تفاحة means apple. Next, كتاب. كتاب. As you can see, we have repeated the same word, but the focus here is on the letter ta. Finally, with the same word again, bayt. One more time. Bayt. Here we can see the final form of the letter ta. Last but not least, the letter tha. For the isolated form, we have كراث. One more time. كراث, which means leek. Next, while keeping an eye on the pattern, I want you to re-listen carefully to the same word again. ثعلب. One more time. ثعلب. Next, for the medial and final form of the letter tha, we are going to use the same word. مثلث. One more time. مثلث, which is nothing but triangle. If you take a close look at this word, you will notice that the letter tha has been used twice. Once in its medial form and once in its final form. That's it. Well done, everyone. Now you've got the basics. All you have to do is to repeat the lesson and take notes. شكراً على حسن استماعكم. إلى اللقاء.